Welcome to another episode of Don't Quote Her. Thank you guys for listening. I am so excited to record this episode because I feel like, sorry if you heard that car, it's just so loud where I live. I just feel like so many women need to hear this. So this unfiltered file is calling all plus size girlies to the gym, okay? The thing is, I see women every single fucking day at the gym who look like me. Maybe they're a little bit lighter than me. Maybe they're a little bit heavier than me. And I see them tucking themselves away in a dark corner of some random little like workout room. And I just want to scream because like, you don't need to hide yourself. Like you don't need to be self-conscious. So that's what this unfiltered file is all about. Calling all plus size girlies to the gym. This isn't a fitness episode. I'm not going to drown you in like some nonsense fitness facts because, well, like I'm not the epitome of fit, which obviously TikTok knows. Thank you. Fuck off. But I am healthy and I am strong. Doesn't mean that like I'm perfect. It doesn't mean that, like I said, I'm the epitome of health. I've been posting videos of me in the gym lately. Cringe. And a lot of women have actually reached out to me on social media asking me questions about my lifts or like how I got started, what my journey's been like, what my goals are, how I feel confident enough to show up in the gym the way that I do. So I figured I would do an episode on it. Today's unfiltered file is big in the gym because I am a plus size woman who does not want to be thin or skinny. And I love feeling strong. And yes, there are things I want to tweak or lose, but like, I don't want to look like a different person. I'm not a small person. Okay. I'm 5'10". I'm well over 200 pounds. I've got some meat on me. Okay. Yes, I have fat on my body. And yes, I have muscle on my body. And no, I'm not a size 2. And no, I'm not trying to be 120 pounds. So everyone who is going to be watching this on TikTok or on social media, what the fuck ever, fuck off. I'm not trying to be 150 pounds. Okay. It's okay to have fat on your body. Stop like crucifying yourself. Okay. This doesn't mean that I don't have insecurities, and it doesn't mean that I wish there was things that I could change. I'm human. Social media does such a good job at making it easy for us to compare our bodies to other women. Well, I'm here to tell you that that's okay. I feel like that's normal. But your body is in your control and it's not easy. And I think if it were easy, more people would have these amazing physiques, right? Like you have to do the work. This episode is for the girlies. This one is for the girlies who have a soft belly, the ones who have those losers under their comments online or with strangers calling them fat, criticizing their bodies, even though they have absolutely no reason to feel shame. The ones who do put in the work, the ones who do try, the ones who maybe need a boost of motivation or inspiration, the ones who have failed time and time again and have to keep picking themselves back up and trying again and again and again just so they can stay on track. This episode is for you. I'm here to help you. Well, I'm here to inspire you because I need the same energy. So if you listen to the last episode coming off of my dysregulation and existing in a dysregulated state, which I'm still, it's not as bad as it was, but I'm still a little on the edge of my seat with it. Like you need people and you need your community. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of history, okay? In my relationship with food and my relationship with fitness, I feel like I was watching that Dak Shepard podcast and he had Reese Witherspoon on. And Reese said, the relationship with the father and the daughter is so crucial because anything that the father says, he's writing on his daughter's mind in Sharpie. And all I kept thinking about was like 100%, that is absolutely factual. Growing up in a household where like my body was constantly critiqued, my dad was the biggest critiquer. And if you've ever, rest in peace, my dad has passed, but ever saw my dad was also not the fittest, most thinnest guy. So with that being said, I feel like our history with food, the way we were brought up, were positive words spoken to us when we were a kid, was body positivity a thing when we were growing up? So many things from our early years contribute to the person that we are today, right? And the thing is if you are in your mid to late 30s, you are a millennial, you're part of my generation. And, back in our day, body positivity wasn't really a thing. Like we saw all these like way thin, super thin women, low rise jeans. God, what am I going to do if those ever come back? You know, it was like cool to be as thin as you could possibly get. You know what I mean? That obviously translated to the people that were raising us. And so the people that were raising us were seeing this. And that's also probably how they were brought up. So there was a lot of that type of shit in my house. Okay. So I've always been a bigger person. The women in my family are tall, we're broad shoulders, we have long legs. When I was born, I was almost a 15-pound baby and I was almost 2 feet long. So like baby giant for fucking real, right? I swam competitively as a kid. I played sports as a kid. Like I said earlier, my body was always the topic of conversation in my house. My dad always had something to say about my body, and sadly, so did my stepmother. I was on and off diets as a kid. So like growing up, I always, like, it was ingrained in me to feel a type of way about my body, right? I had, going into my late teens and my 20s, I'd still like, you know, worked out here and there, but like nothing really extremely consistent or committed. It wasn't until my late 20s really got into the gym. I had moved back from the East Coast and I really had gotten into the gym. There was a nice gym that was really close to my apartment or my condo at the time. And a girlfriend of mine and her, we would lift together, and she was a CrossFitter. I wasn't a CrossFitter. But one of the things that we kind of like put together was like a heavy circuit-esque type CrossFit, like AMRAP, as many reps as possible within a certain time limit, type workout, right? So I had lost 60, 70 pounds pretty quickly. It was melting off. And I remember, you guys, I remember when I got my first gym compliment, and it was when I was squatting heavy for the first time. And I'll be honest, I have absolutely no idea how heavy it was. It was probably nowhere near what I'm squatting now. But someone had stopped me when I was walking out and complimented me on my consistency and the way that they'd noticed my body changed. And it wasn't in like a creepy way. It wasn't in like a rude way. It was actually like such a good compliment. And I remember just being like, oh my God, like, ugh, I love this. Like, it made me want to go even harder, right? So it was my late 20s. I was also working in cosmetics at the time. I was young, I was dumb, I was drinking. I was a fucking mess, honestly. Every weekend was something else. We were like eating out, no sleep, drinking every weekend. And like, not in like the cutesy, like vibey ways I do now as a 37-year-old woman. I mean, it was like we were getting fucking tanked, like obliterated. It's honestly kind of funny looking back on it now. So I really didn't start lifting seriously until about 3 years ago. My dad had passed away from a heart attack, and that woke me the fuck up. My dad had really high blood pressure. It probably wasn't until, like 10 years leading up to his death that he really started taking his fitness and food seriously. High blood pressure runs in my family. When I got my blood pressure checked, it was high as fuck. The doctor was like, ma'am, like, are you okay? I knew then that like I didn't want to die at 60, 61. I needed to like figure it the fuck out, right? You know, if you're a woman and you're listening to this and you are in the gym right now, or you want to get in the gym right now, but one of the things that you're worried about is like, I don't know what I'm doing. These movements feel weird. I don't know. Like, I just don't know. Here's my advice. If your apartment complex, or if you go to a gym, go during quiet hours. So like I love, unless I have something going on in the weekend, I love lifting on the weekend because the gym is emptier. I can take my time. I don't have to like rush home and eat and then get ready for bed and go to work the next day. So I really like lifting on the weekend. So I would advise taking the weekends, even like a Friday night, a Saturday, or a Sunday, and like going and exploring, right? So at the time I was living 3-ish years ago, I was living in a high rise in downtown Seattle. Honestly, probably 4 years actually, now that I think about it. And our building had a really nice gym. And I don't even think at the time I even had a membership to a big box gym. I just remember like, getting back into it was so brutal. It was the most brutal. I didn't really feel confident in my body, let alone lifting weights, right? So I wanted the privacy to figure things out, and that's just what felt comfortable for me. You know what I mean? I wanted to study the way that I was doing these movements at my own pace, in my own time. And a close friend of mine at the time, she was also into lifting, powerlifting actually. And so she was helping me through not only the loss of my dad, she also inspired me a lot. She had taken her body from like 110 pounds to like 200. I think at like her heaviest, probably 210. And so she had just always looked amazing. And at the time she was going through a breakup. And so she was like, I'll come lift with you. At that time, I think she just like needed to move her body, mustering up that strength when you're going through a breakup to get in like a big box gym can sometimes be a little bit overwhelming. So she would come over to my gym at my building and we would lift together. That was super helpful. But eventually I got back into a big box gym, and that's where I really started pushing myself. Listen, ladies, this process is so humbling. It still is. Okay. I think about, 3-4 years ago when I first started, and the strength, how strong I thought I was then compared to now. It's absolutely insane. I mean, I remember my girlfriend like trying to like push me to do certain movements, and I just like wasn't strong enough to do them. Like I could barely lunge because my knees were just fucking glass. The process is extremely humbling. You're trying to push yourself all while doing seemingly new things, and you're getting up early or you're getting off work and then hitting the gym, and then you realize, fuck, why isn't this muscle growing? And you're sore and you're tired, and you have periods where women, that shit happens, and you experience emotional losses and emotional gains, and all of this has an effect on your mood. And when we go into panic mode or stress mode, even in the slightest, our brain tells us to trim the fat. And I don't mean from our bodies, I mean from our routines. And so when our brains tell us to be somewhere safe, that means our home, our couch, or a restaurant, or with our friends drinking, or, for me personally, it means like go home, retreat. I completely shut down when I'm super stressed. That is what we're working on. If you haven't listened to the last episode, go listen. You have to train your brain to acknowledge the present, acknowledge what's going on in your life, accept it, and then process it, all while still doing something like tearing your muscles and fighting for your life in the gym. And I'll be honest with you, for some people that probably comes easier than others. For me, it did not, and still does not come easy. Those days where I'm fighting for my life emotionally, whether it's anger or frustration or sadness, or it could be a breakup or a friendship breakup or whatever, those days that I'm really struggling emotionally and I'm able to push my ass to get to the fucking gym, I never regret going. I never regret going. I never regret showing up. So currently, where I'm at in my gym journey, I'm debating on doing a powerlifting competition in 2026. Debating. There's so much that I need to work on. My lifts would need to be tweaked. I would need to spend more time in the gym. And I would need to dedicate some like real time and energy into doing this. I won't even lie. I would need to hire a coach. I am terrified, and I already have a lot going on, and I just don't know if I can add another thing to my plate. A little tidbit about me: I'm terrible at not finishing things. And if I was to compete, I wouldn't want to do it halfway. I would want to win. And the scary part is like, sometimes I even amaze myself about how strong I am, and like I really feel like I could break some records. Getting back into the swing of things has not been easy. Before I even dive in, like when I say getting back into the swing of things, I mean like the last relationship that I was in, I always sacrificed my own routine. Like I always sacrificed my own routine. I sacrificed my own needs. I sacrificed what was important to me. I sacrificed everything me. So like that discipline that I had built up, and that those routines that I had really like honed in on, from eating to prepping my food to going to the gym to resting, had all gotten disrupted. Not because of him. Yes, because of him. Like he obviously, yes. But because of me, like I'm the one who allowed it. So one of the things that like I realized I had to stop doing was punishing myself for it, because that made it even more difficult for me to get back on the horse. So ladies, if you are going through a breakup, or if you're going through something where you're dysregulated and you've sacrificed your routine and you've sacrificed everything that's important to you, I'm here to tell you to stop. If that person loves you, and if that person cares about you, and that person knows that your body or your health or your relationship with food is important to you, they wouldn't want you to skip that. They wouldn't want you to miss a day. They wouldn't want you to miss a workout. They wouldn't want that for you. So I'm here to tell you, if you do miss a workout, if you do fuck up your diet a little or fuck up your meals a little bit, it's okay. Acknowledge it and start over the next day. Okay. Like don't make it last a week. Don't make it last a month. Literally just thinking back to a couple weeks ago, right? The beginning of November, I was like, okay, I really want to drop 40 pounds, but I don't want to lose strength. So I've like had to tweak my diet so much, and I've really had to like stick with my meals, which is so hard sometimes. But what I had done is I had put all these Post-its up in my bathroom. I was tracking my weight every day. Not that I advise that you do that, but for this purpose, because of how heavy I lift and how much food I eat, I was tracking it just to make sure that it was working. And so every week I was losing like 2, 3, 4 pounds. And then my ex shows up. And what do? I had it like on this like frame. I take the frame off and I put it in my closet. And then when I'm like, now like I've completely pushed through this and just kind of, like I said, trying to get back on track, I found it in my closet. I was like, what the fuck? And so I brought it back out and I put it up on the wall so I could like see where I was again, right? No. 4 fucking weeks. 4 weeks. I wasted 4 fucking weeks of progress. I mean, thank God I didn't gain any weight, but I'm here to tell you, okay? If you need to get back on track, start the very next day. Don't wait a month. Don't wait a couple weeks. Feel your feelings for sure. And if you're in it, be in it, but don't stop. Getting back into things isn't easy. I am fucking sore, people. I switched my training time up. So if you've been following me on social media, you know, like the last couple months, I've been in the gym at 5 a.m. instead of 5 p.m. Lifting before work has its benefits, but it's also a little bit tricky. It's so easy to wake up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning and look at your alarm clock and be like, fuck this. I'm going back to fucking bed. So it's been like definitely hard. Like I've had to like train my mind and I've had to train my body to get up that early, but it is really nice going in the morning because then when I get off work, I'm like, oh, it's already done, which is nice. If you're one of those people listening to this and you're like, Laurel, this all sounds so great, but like, I don't have the motivation, I'm here to tell you, you're never going to find it. You're never going to find the motivation. The motivation's not what you need. And if you do find motivation, it's not sustainable. You need discipline. And that's what I'm having to reteach myself. And let me just tell you, it's not easy. You have to want it more than you want other things. Like discipline is the only thing that's going to keep you on track. And what I keep telling myself for those days that like I don't want to lift, or, you know, even this morning, waking up going to bed last night, I was like, okay, maybe I don't have to go to the gym tomorrow. Maybe I can just rest. My body's really tired. No, bitch. Get up and fucking go. What I keep telling myself is remember how you feel after the gym. Like, yes, getting on the hack squat and cranking out 540 for 8 at 5 a.m. is just not always the most pleasant, I'll be honest with you. But the feeling afterwards is, and I don't mean like how sore I feel. I just mean like keeping that promise to yourself feels so amazing. And that's what I'm trying to remind myself. You know, before I fractured my rib at the top of this year, it wasn't even a question. Like I was just in the fucking zone. Like I would come home, drop my shit off, take my dog out and just dip. I would work out after work. But I got a little soft while I was healing. So leaning back into that discipline and building that back up has not been easy. But I'm here to tell you, it's okay that it's not easy. Like it's supposed to be hard. The moment that you get approached by other lifters complimenting you on your form or complimenting you on your strength, or someone telling you that they see how hard you're working, even though you're living it and you're feeling it, there really is no better compliment. So if you're in the same space as me right now, where you feel like you're fighting for your life while trying to build more discipline and trying to get back into the swing of things after a fucked up year, I'm here to tell you, keep going. It's going to get better. It's going to get easier. We're in this together. On social media, I see a lot of women who look like me in the gym, but I don't hear or see a lot of women talking about what it means to be our size in the gym. You know, the stereotypes, the assumptions. When I first started lifting, like I mentioned earlier, I was with one of my girlfriends. And even though we were getting stopped in the gym together, you know, I mean, we were both tatted from the neck down, lifting extremely heavy. I mean, more even so for her because she's lighter than I am. So we were both just cranking out the weight and we would constantly get stopped. Like, hey, you guys are the hardest working women in here. And I remember this one guy was like, not even women, like you guys are the hardest working people in this gym. And it's such a great compliment. But then we would always get stopped, and men, it's always fucking men because, you know, you guys are just so dumb. No offense, but you guys are. They would assume men would stop us, and after a minute of conversation, they would be like, so is she your trainer? Like, is my friend my trainer? And we would both laugh and be like, no. And one guy that had stopped us was like, oh, I just like assumed. And it's like, why? Because I am like clearly way more than her. I mean, it's okay if you think it, but like, don't say it out loud, you know? And so the looks on their faces were just priceless, you know, or the men, you know, that I remember something about men always wanting to like go on a gym date. But it's funny because when we do take y'all on gym dates, y'all ain't really working, which is a whole separate episode. I remember this guy wanted to lift with me. And we had actually met in the gym. And he was like, yeah, like we should get in a lift together. He had found me on social media, whatever, blase. And I was like, all right, bet. And then he was like, okay, so like, what do you start with? Like 45 minutes of cardio? Sir, no. Oh, well, I just assumed that you wanted to do 45 minutes of cardio because you're trying to shed all that fat. And I was just like, you got to be out your rabbit ass mind. Like, fuck off. I've never heard other women share experiences like that. And I just want women to know that humans are always going to human, okay? There's still going to be a stigma about plus size women in the gym, that we're just there to lose weight. We're not there to build strength. And honestly, like, let people assume, like, let people think what they want to think. At the end of the day, worry about yourself, focus on your work, and just show up and show the fuck out. Because I promise you, if a little bit of you does care what they think or what they're saying, your consistency and your drive will completely change their way of thinking. I think as a plus size woman going on social media, it's so easy to see these women, these like sponsored athletes, go to the gym with like their matching gym sets, and they look so amped and ready and prepared, and they're having so much fun, or they look like they're just like, you know, they're in it. And you're assuming that every single fucking workout is like that. And I'm here to tell you, not every single lift you're going to PR, okay? Every single lift is not going to be a fun time. Every single lift is not going to be the best lift. Some days I feel so weak, and then some days I PR. And the cheat code is what you put in is what you're going to get out, okay? So that's what I also have to keep telling myself. Go one more rep, 10 more minutes, 5 more pounds. You got to find it, and you have to dig deep. There are days when like I get to the gym and I'm doing RDLs with 75-pound dumbbells, and I pick that shit up and it's just like, fuck, like it's just so heavy. But then there's some days where I am in the gym and I crank out 3 sets like nothing. And so then my next 3 sets, I'm doing 80s or 85s. And then my next 2 sets after that, I'm doing 90s. So it's just like, you have to just try. There is so much information right now surrounding workout splits. Like, I know women who literally have like a whole day for buys and tries. And I think that is so great for you guys. And I'm happy for you. But everyone is different. And I think if you are training for a specific goal, then I think that you should have a very specific program. And I think that if you are working with a trainer and that trainer is knowledgeable and listens to your wants and needs, and they have you on a specific program, then I think you should follow that. But to be completely honest with you, your workout split doesn't determine the rate of your success. So I'm going to take you guys through my workout. Well, not like my workout, but I'm going to take you guys through my workout split. I do 2 upper body and 2 lower body days. On a day like today, I'll do cardio and core. Normally on like upper body days, I'll do 15 minutes of like HIIT cardio or steady state cardio. Lower body days, I'll do maybe like a warm up, but other than the warm up for 10 or 15 minutes before my workout, which is not super strenuous, I'm not doing cardio on my leg days. Monday is back, Tuesday legs, Wednesday rest, Thursday chest and shoulders, Friday rest, Saturday and Sunday I'll do a leg day, and then I'll also do like a day like today. But like I said, my rest days are interchangeable. I usually do between 4 and 6 sets of everything. If I'm doing upper body, I'm definitely doing 5 or 6 sets. If I'm doing lower body, depending how heavy I'm going, I'm doing between 4 and 6 as well. The heavier I go, the lighter the reps. So normally, and this is all while doing progressive overload. So what this means is for like 2 weeks, I'll float, I'll float around X amount of weight. And if I'm able to crank out 10 or 12 without feeling like I'm killing myself on that last rep, then that means I can increase the weight. And I'm not talking like throw another like 45 pounds on. I'm just talking like add a little bit of weight and then you adjust your reps. So for example, this is just for example, if I'm doing 400 on the hack squat and I'm able to crank out 12 reps with ease, then I know the next time I lift, I can add weight. And so the next time I lift, I'll add weight and then I'll adjust my reps. So the heavier I go, the lighter the reps. Usually my sets look like this. I either do 2 at the bottom or 2 at the top. So 2 sets of between 10 and 12, and then I'll do another 2 sets of between 6 and 8, and then I'll do another 2 sets of 4 and 6. With upper body, my reps kind of tend to be a little bit higher, but again, it just depends. If it's back day, my reps are not so much higher because I am able to go super heavy, but something like chest and shoulders, I'm really aware of my form and how I'm lifting, and I listen to my body and I listen to my shoulders, so I'm really careful about the reps there and the progressive overload there. And I'm talking like when I'm doing chest and shoulders and I'm adding weight, I'm adding like 2.5 pounds. Like I'm not adding anything crazy. I share my lifts on TikTok. I'm starting to share my lifts on TikTok. I hate recording in the fucking gym, but I'm trying. So follow me on TikTok or Instagram and you'll see what I do and how I do it. And yeah, for my girlies that struggle with food, I want you guys to be easy on yourself. Small steps are still steps. And I would be lying to you if I said I didn't struggle with food. I'm an emotional eater. I love like feel good food. Who doesn't love bread? Who doesn't love pasta? And who doesn't love sauce? Okay. Like, come on. So what I've had to do is I've had to prioritize my calories and my protein. I weigh my food. So learn about your portions. You would be surprised how much food you are not eating. I'm telling you guys right now. So the problem with so many women is we're under eating. We're under eating the right foods. So learn about your portions. I'm not going to make this episode all about food. I swear I could probably do like 10 episodes about food. I like bar food vibes. Like I'm very like bar food tapas vibes. That's my craving all the time. Of course I like sweet stuff, but really I like savory, salty food and pizza. Always pizza. The first thing I do is you need to find a TDEE calculator. Okay. I'm going to link this in the show notes and you find out your calories, your macros. Okay. Find out the calories that you're allotted. When you are finding yourself with these cravings, find healthier ways to make the versions of that food. No, it will not be the exact same. You're not Taco Bell. No, you're not McDonald's or you're not, I don't fucking know, Papa Murphy's. Like you're not those places. So of course the food will taste different. What I love doing is finding ways to make healthier versions. Honestly, you would be surprised how much food you can eat staying within your calories as well when you make healthier versions of this food. Another huge reason I wanted to do this episode is because even at my own gym, I see other plus size women and like I mentioned earlier, like they're lurking in these like dark rooms, or I see women all the time at my gym who you can just tell they're like apprehensive. They don't know what they're doing. They're kind of like looking around and I know that they're nervous and that's okay. It's definitely okay to be nervous and it's definitely okay to be insecure. There were moments, oh my God, even as someone who I would consider myself experienced by this time so last July, not this past July, but the July before 2024, me and B, the old co-host of this pod, we went to Texas and we went on this gym tour. Let me just tell you guys, there were so many times where like we would go to these like, you know, the gyms that you see on social media where it's like the bright lights and the cool backgrounds and these equipment that was just like fucking sane. Nothing that you would find at LA Fitness, right? And let me tell you, she's even more experienced than me. And we would see these machines, especially like for leg day, we would see these fucking machines and we'd be like, fuck yeah. And I remember we saw a pendulum squat and we were like, we got on the squat and the trainer, one of the trainers at the Gold's Gym was watching us this entire time. And finally he was like, yeah, so do you guys need help? And we were laughing so hard. I know that you can feel insecure, and I know that it can feel so awkward, and you're like, you see machines and you're like, where in the fuck is the, like, where's the lever? I don't know. It's okay. It honestly is okay to feel that way. The best part about the gym is like people who have done the work and people who show up, and you can tell by those people, right? You either see them there all the time, or you can see it in your body or see it in their body. They've all been there. And my favorite part about the gym is that when people stop me, when women stop me and they're like, hey, I saw you doing this movement over here. Can you help me? That is my favorite part of the gym. I mean, a couple weeks ago, there were two girls who, you know, when you can like tell someone's watching you, they were watching me on the leg press. She needed to like move the seat, and then whenever I do leg press, 80% of the time I'm doing single leg. And so she had seen me do the single leg. She had asked me, she was like, hey, do you know how to do this? And I was like, yeah, for sure. And it was two girls. And their first question was, how do I move the seat back? Helped them with that. And then they were talking to me about, you know, we don't really know like what we're doing. They were just moving the sled. They had no weight on it. And so I was like, okay, have you guys ever done this before? No. And so I told them, all right, it's always best to start light. And so I was kind of like walking them through that. And they were so grateful, and it was so dope. And it's always so much fun when people stop you and ask for help. And it made me feel so good. And you know what, to be honest with you guys, like, what's the worst thing that could happen? Is that like, what? You don't know what you're doing? Okay, you're doing something wrong. Who cares? You learned, right? So what helped me so much, this is another reason why I really wanted to do this episode, helped me so much, especially getting back into a big box gym when I was by myself, is I would show up, and there were like some movements I knew how to do, or I knew that I wanted to do, so I would do them. And there were some where it was like I remember when I first started doing Bulgarian split squats. And at the top of this episode, I had shared like I was so weak when I initially got back into the big box gym that doing lunges, it was like I kept telling a girlfriend of mine, I was like, I'm so scared that I'm gonna go down and I'm gonna hit that fucking floor and not come back up. And so one of the things I would always do is I would find a spot in the gym where I was able to do this comfortably, and I would go for a lighter weight. I would pull up like accounts that I had saved on social media, and I would I'm just saying, like, I would watch over and over and over and over again these women do these movements until I was able to mimic the movement. If I could be that inspiration for other women, that's really and truly all that matters to me. Like, even one woman, if she pulls up my social media and she's like, okay, Laurel's doing the single leg on the leg press, and this is her foot placement, and this is how deep she's going, and this is how much weight she's got. Like, if I could be that person for someone, like, then my job is done. And I would feel so great about myself. And I do feel great about myself, because there are women who do reach out. There are even men who reach out to me and are like, I see you in the fucking gym, girl, and you motivate me to go today. Like, you're the reason why I went today. And that is such a fulfilling feeling. It's okay to be a plus size woman in the gym. And it's okay to not know what you're doing in the gym. And it's okay to feel embarrassed in the gym. And it's okay to feel insecure in the gym. And it's okay to take up space everywhere you go. And it's okay to not want to be skinny. And it's okay to not want to be fat anymore either. And so this is my message to you. You can use my social media. I will continue posting videos. I will continue posting things about my workout. This is my message to all the women out there who are afraid to take up space, and who are afraid to be themselves, and who are working out with 10-pound weights in the dark corner of the gym. This is my message to you. Take up space. Go learn. Go humble yourself. I want you guys to message me if you have questions. I want us to take up space, and I want us to help other women. And you know what the thing is I hate even saying plus size, because let me just tell you, I feel like it's just like regular size fucking women. Like, regular size fucking women, like literally regular size fucking people. No, they're not who you see on social media, but just regular fucking women. So this is your message. Go take up space. Go lift some weights. It's so good for you. There's so many benefits that we can do that for another episode. If you don't already, follow, like, and subscribe, and then follow me on social media as well. My personal page is ayoitslolo. The pod page is Don't Quote Her Podcast on YouTube and Instagram, and TikTok. And thank you guys for listening to me rant. And I look so, oh my God, I literally look so fucking gross. Thank you guys for listening. And if you are a plus size girly, message me. And also